Welcome to Optimal Humanity, a program designed to help you become the optimal version of yourself. Before we begin, I would like to come up with a reflection. Don't let fear be your mentor. Whatever is your current physical health condition, do not be afraid. Fear is not a good mentor. Don't take its advice. Take instead the advice of the goddess of victory, Nike, which means upper hand in contest. And what Nike suggests to you is just do it. So I invite you, regardless of your condition, to take a dive into fear. Today we're going to talk about 4 levels of health and fitness, from worst to the optimal. Let's start. The first level is what we call the over 50 curse. You are at this level if you have the following conditions. You have high blood pressure, you walk with difficulty or aided with a cane or other device. You have dysglycemia, low or high blood sugar levels, high or low, it doesn't matter. You're obese, you have renal insufficiency. Just want to make this clear. Protein intake does require your kidneys to filter more nitrogen, but there is absolutely no scientific evidence that it will hinder or damage your kidneys under no circumstance. So do not be afraid to take protein, which is essential. The building blocks, like the Legos of humanity, of our human body, is amino acid, in other words, protein. Without them, you cannot make repairs, you cannot keep your hair, your eyes, your kidneys, your liver, your pancreas, etc., etc. You need protein. You might also have some respiratory disease such as COPD, black lung, asthma, or cystic fibrosis. If you have those conditions or 2 or more of those conditions, you are what we classify as over 50 curse level of fitness. If you are there, these are the exercises that we require for you. I just want to emphasize something, that we are an information system. Our system is constantly communicating with itself, both internally and externally. Internally, it has the nerves, the cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, for instance, and tells your brain, the nervous system, what needs to be done. You need to lower your blood pressure, you need to create more heat, you need to cool down, you need to stabilize your pH balance, and so on, so on. But in addition to those communications, we have communication from the external world. We need to tell our nervous system, our brain, what is required. The world, as we know, is constantly changing. So our internal system has no means of knowing what's going on. We need to tell it. How do we tell our system what is needed? A big thing is with our muscles. When we start doing more muscles, that tells information to the liver. Liver need to produce more fuel. It tells the heart, you need to get stronger for the task at hand, and so forth, so forth. So remember that muscle building is essential. So it is now a lot of evidence, a lot of studies that have shown that exercise-based is a valid rehabilitation technique for all non-communicable disease or so-called chronic disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and what have you. There is the American College of Sport Nutrition came up with the exercise is medicine incentive, so that any prescription needs to have exercise. It's actually a therapy, a valid therapy. So you need to keep that in mind if you are hesitant to start on any exercise program. The equipment that you require if you are in the over 50 category, over 50 course category, you need resistant bands. They have a whole assortment of resistant bands, easier, harder, but even the slightest one, even the weakest one are excellent. You need a heart rate monitor, a pedometer, some type of dumbbells, whatever is taxing for you, not too much taxing. Remember, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But at the same time, what doesn't stimulate makes you weaker. So we need a pulse oximeter just to measure of oxygen saturation. If you have access, or you could buy a treadmill, or if you can join a gym right now, there are gyms that you pay them $10, $20 per month, and they have everything you need there. They have treadmill with heart rate monitors and what have you. Or you could buy a Fitbit watch, very, very inexpensive. They tell you they have a pedometer, heart rate monitor. It has everything you need. It tells you sleep quality, total sleep, light sleep, deep sleep hours, and so forth, so forth. Wearables that are very, very cheap and yet very robust and can tell you a lot of information, more than any doctor can tell you. So you need that equipment, or you can just do it the calisthenic way with your body weight. You can do push-ups and what have you. The diet that we recommend if you are there is first and foremost cut all refined sugar. Cut sugar. Don't add sugar to anything. Do not add sugar. That's what we mean by refined sugar. There are a lot of hidden sugars in a lot of products that we eat, the American public eats, but we don't need to worry about those. Just the sugar that you add to your food. Cut also all vegetable oils. All of them. They're really, really bad for you. Instead of cooking with vegetable oils, granola, sunflower seed, and what have you, even olive oil, cook with butter, ghee, or tallow. You cannot go wrong, and do not be afraid of eating fat. That's a hoax. Just Google it. It is a very, very well-known fact that fat is very, very good for you. It's essential. Carbohydrates are not essential. Carbohydrates, by the way, is sugar, but we don't need to worry about now about carbohydrates. So your diet in over 50 course is to cut sugar, cut all processed food. Processed food are food that are created on a factory, that are ultra processed. For instance, things that come on packages with beautiful colors, that smell excellent, that look very, very good. You know, all those cereals that they sell for children and what have you. And remember, a single innocent serving of ultra processed food drastically increases your chance of dying of a chronic disease. If you take 4 or more, it increases it by 65%. So no ultra processed food whatsoever. And you can drink water, coffee, and sparkling water, no sodas of any kind. Cut all sodas except sparkling water and natural water. And again, increase protein and fat. Fat is what your brain needs. Your brain needs fat to stay healthy. They recommend, cut fat, fats are bad for you, but eat omega-3 fatty acid. Omega-3 is fat. So do not be afraid to consume large amounts of fat. You're not gonna gain weight. Think about this. Cows don't eat fat and they have a lot of fat. They just eat grass. They're vegetarian and they have a lot of fat. Lions are carnivorous and don't have any fat. So it is not the fat that you consume. Fat is your best friend. For the exercise, if you are in the over 50 curve, you're gonna have low intensity walking. You might start with whatever is taxing for you. Whatever you can manage. Let's say you can manage 3 minutes. Walk 3 times a week for 3 minutes a day, and the next week increase it to 5. If you could do 3, you're gonna increase to 5. Even if you end sore is good for you. Sore is your brain telling us, we need to get stronger. The body doesn't want pain. Whenever it feels pains, it knows that it needs to go back to baseline and then some. So that's how you get stronger. So even if you feel bad after doing 3 minutes of walk a day, do not be afraid. Fear is not a good mentor. Do not follow his advice. You can swim. Swim requires a lot of technique, not a lot of endurance or fitness. It's just technique more than anything else. So walking probably is the best thing. Or stationary bicycle, a stepper, just whatever. And try to keep with your heart rate monitor. Try to keep what is called zone 2. Zone 2 is 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. If that is too complicated for you, I understand. Just keep it on a conversational pace. What is a conversational pace? It's a pace where you can carry on a conversation with complete sentences. You might say, oh, look at that dog. Oh, I like that dog, or whatever. That's a complete sentence. And if you can do that, that is conversational pace. If you just cut very short sentences, yes, no, you're going too fast. So zone 2, conversational pace, easy does it at this level. There is something about one of fitness guru that I respect a lot. His name is Pavel Tsatsouline. He's Russian, I don't know how to pronounce his name. His name is Pavel. And he has a technique called grease the groove, which is the longer you do it, the better. In other words, practice makes perfect. So your nervous system remembers. The more you do it, the more your nervous system remembers, and it learns. And it learns what muscles to recruit. It begins to recruit more muscles to do the task at hand. And you don't need to do it, like very, very intense. If you do it like 50% of your maximum, that's good enough, as long as you do it often enough. If you're gonna do squats, body bar squats, do 5. You go on your business, and in an hour or 2 hours, do another squat, or just hold the pose for 3 minutes and so forth. That goes a long way. So That is the first level of fitness. The second one is what we call the improving. That is the characteristics of the improving stage is when you're feeling with more energy. You feeling like just that more energy. You have more energy to not only to exercise but to use your daily living, and you feel like you have more energy to that. You have gained some mobility. Maybe you know your shoulders. Maybe you can squat deeper, or maybe you can pick up something from the floor, or you realize that you have gained some mobility. It doesn't matter how little. Any gain is good. If you take a blood analysis, you'll find out that your biomarkers have been improving, your glucose, your blood pressure has gone down, your triglycerides have gone down. Don't worry about your cholesterol. And you probably have increased your walking to about 7,000 steps per day. That is huge. 7,000 steps a day. It goes a long way, no pun intended. And you could do daily or 6 times a week. You can walk 7,000 steps a day. With the Fitbit that I mentioned, it counts your number of steps. You don't need to worry about. You wear it and it will tell you as the day changes. It will also reset itself and start from zero. Very, very handy. And you can also do some calisthenics, body weight squats. You can do knee push-ups when you hold on your knees with your and you can do a push-ups, 1, 2, 3, or 4 push-ups. And if you can do that, you are on the improving state. And the diet that we recommend if you are in that stage, on the improving stage, is you're going to decrease the amount of carbohydrates you eat, especially rice, pasta, bread, and starchy vegetables like potato, squash, sweet potatoes and what have you. Just very, very starchy. Probably is sticking only with green leafy vegetables. They're not that starchy. But you need to cut your carbs. Rice, pasta, bread, that's a must. There's sugar. It doesn't matter if they're whole grain or not whole grain, they are sugar. Your insulin level is gonna spike, you're not gonna have stable energy, and all the inflammation associated with insulin resistance is gonna still there. When you begin to cut that, you're going to realize that you don't crave them as much. It is almost miraculous. It's just like I compare it to an alcoholic. I have some friends that have been addicted either to some drugs or alcohol, and they talk about it as a miracle. Why do they refer to it as a miracle? Because before they couldn't do it, and suddenly it just becomes very easy without effort. Why is that? As long as you're going against your nervous systems, you're gonna fail. Your consciousness, your will, is a spider monkey, whereas your nervous system is a silverback gorilla. As long as you're going against it, it's going to turn you to pieces. When you start going into a better diet, especially cutting sugars and ultra-processed food, it becomes almost very easy to stay away from those, from the carbohydrates and what have you. The exercise that we recommend if you are there is you try to increase your daily steps to at least 10,000 steps. Again, trying to stay in zone 2. Trying to stay in conversational or zone 2 is essential. because a lot of metabolic adaptations happen when you do it that, not faster and not slower. If you go faster, that is a training for morons, because they're going nowhere. They're getting tired for no reason, and they are jeopardizing their fitness and their health. During zone 2, when you are in zone 2, you have capillarity, your mitochondria works much better, you produce mitochondria, your heart rate, the volume of blood per stroke increases, and some other things. So it's very important that you try to stay on zone 2 or conversational pace. Also, an exercise, you need to start incorporating some weight exercises, light weight, whatever you could do 4 repetitions, and you just feel taxed. That's good enough, and that is actually excellent. You start doing compound exercises. I'm gonna tell you what is not a compound exercise. What is not a compound exercise is what you see a lot of people doing in the gyms all day, working their bicep. The bicep is a very small muscle. You don't need to do that. That's a waste of your time. What you need to do, a compound exercise, is one that you use 2 or more joints. For instance, the so-called Arnold Schwarzenegger shoulder press, where you do this. So you're using this joint and you're using this joint. That's an excellent component exercise. Another ones are squats. You use a lot of more different muscle groups. Deadlift, the deadlift almost uses all 630 muscles of your body. Deadlift is excellent. A bench press also uses as a compound interest. Pull-ups, chin-ups, bent over rows, and there is a number of, but the ones I just mentioned, they're excellent compound exercises. After improving, we have now stage 3, which is good health. When you are on the good health, you are a good health if you have these characteristics. You have very stable energy. If you have stable energy, as opposed to up and downs, that means that you're gaining insulin sensitivity. You don't have insulin spikes that you suddenly feel euphoric or what have you, followed by a big crash. So you have very stable energy. That is an excellent thing. And following the exercise and the diet that we recommend, you're going to get there. So no spikes or loss. You also, and this is amazing, you're gonna feel more motivated. You're gonna wake up like St. Paul in the Bible, with a purpose at every step. You're gonna feel, oh my God, it's a new day, and a new day of opportunities to do any number of tasks, and you feel motivated. Why you feel motivated? Remember, motivation is dopamine, it's hormones. You feel motivated because that's how our Creator created us, to be motivated, joyful. And so when you begin to be hormone balance, the sky is the limit. You'll be surprised. You will not believe that it is possible to feel this way. So another characteristic, if you are in this good health level, is you have a resting heart rate. That's your heart rate that you have in the beginning of early morning without doing anything, when you first wake up. And it should be anywhere between 60 and 100. Preferably between 60 and 90. And that is, if you are there, if you have a 60 to a 90 heart rate, even 100, you are I'm sorry, you are on this level we call the good level. Now, another characteristic is for men from 50 to 59, for to be in this level, they should be able to bench 55% of the body weight. For instance, a male, 181 pounds, should be able to bench 100 pounds. One time, 100 pounds. A woman, 50 to 59 woman, should be able to bench 45% of her body weight. A woman weighing 132 pounds should be able to lift in excess of 60 pounds. For a man 60 to 69, he should be able to bench an excess of 41% of his body weight. A man of 180 pounds should be able to bench 75 pounds or more. A 60 to 69 woman should be able to bench press in excess of 38% of her body weight. For a woman of 132 pounds, she should be able to bench over 50 pounds. Now, the goals for this level of good health, level 3, are as follows. We need to remember that good is not good enough. Like we always say, good is a mortal enemy of the best, of optimal. So the goals for somebody who is in good health and this level, for a man 50 to 50 man, he should increase it by at least 18%. 18 pounds or 20% of what he currently uses, benches. A woman should increase by at least 10 pounds or 20% for her mass bench press. A man 60 to 69 should increase by greater or equal to 18 pounds or 20% of her previous maximum. A woman of that age, 60 to 69, should increase by 8 pounds or 50% of her previous max. And those are the goals for this category. The diet for somebody who is in good health is to go full carnivore. What that means is animal-based. Everything this person should eat has to come from animal, especially from ruminants, cows, lambs, and the like. Polygastric animals that have 4 stomachs, as opposed to monogastric, we only have 1. These animals have the amazing characteristic of fermenting. They have a fermenting device portable inside their stomachs, and they get rid of everything that is bad. Fermented food is known as one of the greatest achievements on food for humanity. So cows figured that out. Not only did they figure it out, but they actually developed the equipment to do it internally. So fully carnivore, and remember this, man is meant to be carnivore. Even in the Bible, it tells you the kosher land animals, it says split hooves and cod, ruminants. So those are the animals land animals that you can eat. You can also eat fish like salmon for omega-3 and what have you. Chicken, I particularly don't like chicken because it doesn't have a lot of fat. And also they're monogastric, so I don't trust chickens, nor do I like chickens, but it's okay. Eggs is the perfect protein. Eggs not gonna give you cholesterol, just like a cow doesn't eat fat and make fat, and a lion eats a lot of fat and doesn't get fat. Also eggs has nothing to do with how much cholesterol you're going to increase. Besides, cholesterol is essential. It's one of the most expensive substances or molecules that the human body produces. It's the precursor of most of the hormones, especially testosterone and human growth hormone. So strive to be full carnivore. Even if at first you think it is too hard, which believe me, it won't be too hard, don't give up. Say, well, just like the Alcoholics Anonymous said, just for today, I'm not going to drink. So just for today, I am going to drink some carbs, green beans or whatever. But maybe tomorrow, I will need to do that. For the exercise, you continue doing, with those goals in mind, deadlift, bench, and squats are at an intensity of about 50 to 80% of your 1 rep max. 50 to 80%. You're gonna do 3 to 4 sets. 3 to 4 sets of 3 to 4 reps. You're gonna rest 2 to 10 minutes in between sets. So you're gonna do 3 to 4 repetitions, 3 sets with complete recovery between sets, 2 to 10 minutes. If you're tired, if you don't recover between sets, you're gonna be able to give it your all. So it's not as effective as taking a full rest. We're not endurance. Prey rely on endurance. Predators rely on strength. What we need is strength. So get full recovery, 2 to 10 minutes. Do not be afraid to rest. That should be the 11 commandments of athlete. Do not be afraid of resting. When we rest, that's when we get stronger, not what we do in the exercise. So you do 3 sets per day, and you do 3 to 5 days a week. If 5 is too much because you get tired or because you don't have time, just try to do at least 3. Now, once you start getting stronger and healthier, you become what we call the optimal health, the optimal version of yourself. A human being at its maximum expression, a human being the way our Creator intended us to be. Referring back to my friends in Alcoholics Anonymous, they say there's only 2 sins. One, to interfere with the growth of another human being. And the second sin is to interfere with your own growth. Tell me if that doesn't echo the words of Jesus. Love thy neighbor as yourself. So, why is growth so important? Why is growth so important? Love. If you love yourself, that means you want to be the best you can. You want to be the optimal version of yourself. That's what loving yourself means. It doesn't mean to hold you in the morning and I say, oh, I love you so much. It means you are willing to do the work to achieve the optimal version of yourself. If you love your spouse, like I love mine, you should endeavor to help her grow. Just like a gardener who takes care of a flower. The only thing the gardener wants is for the flower to blossom into its fundamental essence. That's what being the optimal version of yourself is all about. So you are the optimal version of yourself if you can bench the following. If you're 50 to 59, you can bench at least 88% of your body weight. A woman, 50 to 59, can bench in excess of 58% of her body weight. 60 to 69 men, at least 60% of their body weight, and a woman, at least 40% of her body weight. The goals for somebody on the optimal version of themselves, on the optimal health, is for a man 50 to 59 should be able to lift 107% of their body weight. A woman 50 to 59 should be able to bench at least 71% of their body weight. 60 to 69 men should be able to bench 82% of their body weight, and a woman 55% of their body weight. Deadlift, a man 50 to 59 should be able to deadlift 170% of their body weight, and a woman 50 to 59 should be able to bench 125% of her body weight. A man 60 to 69 should be able to deadlift 127%, and a woman 93%. Those goals might seem unreachable to you, but remember the men of La Mancha, to dream the impossible dream, because it is possible. The diet for somebody that is already on the optimal health is to increase their protein intake to 0.5 to 0.9 grams per pound of body weight. That is a lot of protein. It will not harm your liver, your kidneys. And as you begin to grow, I think it's after 30, you begin to absorb less protein than you did before. So somebody on 50 and over, we need to take a lot of protein to absorb what we need. So do not be afraid to increase your protein intake. The best protein you can eat is eggs. Dog eggs have more omega-3 than chicken eggs. So you're lucky enough to be able to get dog eggs. By all means, get dog eggs. They're excellent. And I have, once you're on optimal health, you need to challenge yourself to do several things just to keep it exciting, to keep you motivated, or to keep you with a goal. In my case, and I'm gonna be updating my journey, like they say, through the following. I'm gonna challenge myself. They have categories for bench, deadlift, and squat, given your age and your body weight. They have it into a novice, beginner. A beginner, they define as somebody who's been lifting weights consistently from 0 to 2 years. If you've been lifting from 0 to 2 years, you are a beginner. From 2 to 3 years or 4 years, you are a novice. And they have, those categories, they have different standards depending on what level you're at. And then they have intermediate, I think it's 3 to 5 years. And for the intermediate, then they have advanced, which I think advanced is over 5 years. And after the advanced, they have elite. Elite category, I guess, are people that have an extra thing for extra strong, like, as you know, because of the central limit theorem, the most powerful theorem in mathematics, especially in statistics, is the bell shape. We are normally distributed. So My challenge is I want to be an elite category, and I need to be able to deadlift 315 pounds, squat 270, bench press 200 pounds, and I should be able to do, those abdominal wheels. I should be able to do standing, not when you put your knees, but from the standing and stand all the way down, and to do what is called a farmer's walk, 1 mile with 20% of my body weight. So I will be reporting on my progress, and thank you very much for your patience.